Well, let's talk real briefly, because we don't want to tie everybody up. We want our special guest that drove through a rain monsoon to get here to be able to talk for a second. This is our regular monthly meeting. It's the last Tuesday. We spread the word, spread the word, spread the word. Last Tuesday of the month, every month at the Ramada. Never changes, 6 o'clock. Either there's 6 or 60, we don't care. We still have a meeting. For you girls, so you'll know who's who. This is Catherine Castle right here. Hi, Catherine. Catherine is the volunteer chairperson for the Trail Town Committee, and she's in charge of rounding folks up when the work needs done. There's tons of work that has to be done, and she does a very good job of doing that. And then next to her is Andrea Kennedy, and Andrea is the chairperson for the track committee, and that means Trail Route Advisory. Come in here, Hot Rod. Trail Route Advisory Committee. And what they do is identify trails, map trails, geo trails, and make sure that all the trails are accessible. And at this point, we use a system called All Trails. And at this point in the Commonwealth, we believe that Johnson County now has the most mapped all trails of any place in the state. Awesome. Thanks to Andrea and her team. She's got a team that works with her. I'm sorry?
No, hiking, stuff like that.
Hiking, biking, river trails, and hopefully this summer, before the summer is out, and Brian's not here with us tonight, but hopefully we're going to have also mapped our rock climbing places to do that, rappelling. I won't be rappelling.
I'm not a fishing spot down there.
I will.
That's on my neck surgeon said.
That's awesome.
My neck surgeon said you're not
directions to it. You just click.
But right now we have the most identified trails, outdoor activity trails in the state. And she and her team, which is comprised of herself, the David Jackson, who is with the Army Corps of Engineers out here at the lake, Anthony Skeens, who is our Commonwealth attorney, is on the track committee. Who else you got on the track committee?
Joel's on it.
Joel's on it. He's also on the signage chair.
Josh Castle.
And Josh Castle, who does East Kentucky Outdoors Adventures. And I think he and his fiance are off planning the next adventure today, so that's why he's not here, because he sent me a message earlier. So that's some of our Trail Town community. And then Ricky is the newest representative to our Trail Town committee, but not the newest participant. Ricky does the Swiftwater Emergency Rescue.
Oh, cool.
So, and does an extremely...
And we put him to work last week.
Yeah. We put him to work. Some folks, one gal got out of her kayak, and then a whole bunch more decided to get out.
I actually pulled that guy out of the lake a couple years ago, overland ground. We had our pontoon down there, and the river, the lake rescue crew and stuff like that came back. That was a good ordeal. I'd say about 4, I'll say right
Do
at
you all remember that? You all would remember that. Aaron,
That's
you
the whole
remember that?
the gentleman who was there, the VA.
Aaron, introduce yourself.
I'm Eric Cashwell. I'm Assistant Fire Chief out on Springs, and I head up all of our technical rescue, everything, all that. Also at Paintsville, Johnson County Emergency Management, and work for the city of Paintsville as a paramedic.
And you gave us tables and chairs, I do believe, didn't you?
Oh yeah. He's assisted us on many occasions. Real good partner. As are all of our partners. We're pretty blessed with people that are willing to work with each other and across city and county lines, and we've been very blessed. Very blessed.
Yeah, Ricky chose one of mine. He's the #1 water guy.
Ricky Chapman knows what he's doing, don't you, bud?
Yep.
Kevin, introduce yourself. You standing up there, just standing there.
Well, I'm not just standing here. I have a camera.
Oh, I know. Yeah, but you're like there, so like you got to introduce yourself now.
I'm Kevin Horn. I work for Around Paintsville, and I film local meetings. That's mainly what I'm doing here. I'm just documenting things.
That's it in a nutshell, right?
Yep.
So just a couple of, oh, I'm sorry, Wayne. Y'all introduce yourselves.
I'm Wayne Stablo
And Katie. And they are, they're gearheads. Don't know what gearheads are? That's a car enthusiast.
Okay. Oh, I was just making sure. I didn't know if we were going in a different direction with that. Or, I don't know what kind of gears we were talking about.
They're with gearheads, and they do all the cool cars. They're actually driving bad Honda pickup. They just rolled up in out here tonight. And they are
Probably the least eco-friendly
extremely,
thing in the parking lot.
yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, it's a macho truck. But all of the gearheads are extremely good community partners to the city, to the county, to every organization coming and going. They are extremely active. Across 3 or 4 counties here, there's a real good gearhead population. And one of the things that we're trying to identify regionally is hard surface trails. And we're really blessed to be on the ground floor working with the Heart of the Dragon Trail, which is 19 counties involved in that.
And motorcycle.
So-
Is that the one like the tail of the dragon?
Yeah,
It's-
like the
it's-
tail and the head.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got the work.
Okay.
So we have 19 counties, including Pike County, including Whitesburg and Letcher and
And when you look at a
Martin.
map, it's actually shaped like a
It's
horse.
shaped like a heart. It's
Really?
pretty bad to the bone.
Oh my God.
And it's gonna be bigger and bigger.
We're
than
gonna
what
have
they
to
have.
drive that.
Oh, yeah.
I go Harley, so.
It's 10
Well, there you go.
There you go. And so that's a burgeoning thing that a lot of people are participating in.
Mhm.
So we're really, 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 really blessed to be part of that organizing body.
Our whole motorcycle chapter just got off the trail.
Oh, yeah?
Off the tail of the dragon, it was in Maggie Valley for a week.
It's a cool thing.
My mom and dad loved it when they went down. They rode it. They actually stayed in a hotel where when you rented your room, there was a room adjacent from it that had a lock and you pulled your motorcycle inside of it, and they thought that was pretty cool.
Yep.
My uncle didn't think it was too cool though, because by the time they got done, his tailpipes where his motorcycle set so low were flat. And stuff. He drug so bad going down it.
No kidding.
Yeah. Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
we went and rode both of those trail systems, and we really believe that the system that we're designing in Eastern Kentucky will surpass that.
Oh, wow. That'd be awesome.
Either of those trail systems. And because it's new, it's going to draw folks in.
Oh, yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
new draws folks in. So that's part of why I wanted you all to come, is because this is a regional endeavor more so than just a local yokel thing. And we're not the only ones participating in the regional partnerships. We have a group called ADA, Attaboy, Attagirl, Appalachian Trail Town Association. And that's anything and everything to do with trail towns, or anybody that's trying to be a trail town, or is a trail town, or thought about being a trail town.
The last day we had a Pikeville representative and a Pike County representative and the
We've
Lawrence
had-
County, Martin County was supposed to be there.
So we
Sayersville.
we have a river partnership with 5 counties, and our local governments, mayors and judge executives all up and down the river system. And we're partnering in synergy with the Tug Fork system, so that we will have the only inclusive blue water trail in the state. We'll have all of the forks participating.
That's awesome.
So we're doing everything we can do
Yeah.
to make it happen, and we're glad that people like you are doing everything you can do too. I'm gonna take care of the ugly business and get it out of the way, so that I can say that as a catalyst, which is nothing more than just somebody just keeps the conversation going. That's all I am. I ain't no boss lady or nothing like that. Just keep the conversation going. So I'll get the ugly stuff out of the way. There was an article in the paper a couple of days ago that said that it was written by another press association, but still in Appalachia, that said that Paintsville was not, I'll just bottom line it, that we were not being cooperative with other agencies or trying to work with other agencies, and nothing could be any further from the truth. Nothing could be any further from the truth.
What was that in?
It was in the Paintsville Herald, but it was an Appalachian News article. And it painted us as not being participants, active participants, and nothing could be any further from the truth. We participate with anybody and everybody that wants us to participate.
Because it was last year, we, for the Paddle Fest,
Who wrote the article?
I'm not sure her name, but last year for the Paddle Fest, when they came from Floyd County to the water plant, we
Okay,
were there with food and all that.
Okay,
and-
I understand.
Okay.
So, after, I had to wait for a few days and collect my thoughts on it, because Prestonsburg City and Paintsville City have at times been at odds with one another, but always have been able to work together. And so I wanted to put my thoughts together on how to address this. They have a brand new tourism person, Samantha West, very, very charming young woman. seems to be extremely knowledgeable about what she's doing. I think they've made a good hire. And she was quoted as saying that no one responded to her about wanting to partner with the Paddle Fest, and that they were going to have to maybe explore the routes. So I didn't want to say anything that would cause any more like rubbing sand in the wound. I wanted to be encouraging. So we sent a message out this morning to Prestonsburg Tourism on behalf of Trailtown, and not any other agency or anybody else, but just on behalf of Trailtown, because we have worked with them in the past very successfully on both Paddle Fest and their inaugural river race on the River Street. And it was a success. Everything about those events was successful. But sometimes when information is exchanged, and especially when new people come into a picture, it's not always including everything that was said. It's just bits and pieces. So in fairness to her, she wasn't probably getting all of the information. She was just trying to do the best she could to report to her board. So I reached out and I said, hey, we don't want to be perceived as the bad neighbors that won't participate. We participated before, and we still want to participate. Tell us what we can do to help. Just this evening, got a message back that says, yeah, we think maybe it was just some miscommunication, and we still all want to work together, and everything's cool, and let's still work together. So what had potential to be escalating into some kind of a horrible story about how nobody can get along and work together, I think was just a miscommunication. And we're going to do our best to try to move ahead from here, both Trailtown and Prestonsburg. And they are exploring other river routes, and I'm glad. That's what we all should be doing. That's what I hope's going on all up and down. I know we're partnering with Coal Run Village, and we're partnering with Floyd County Tourism to do other events, Lawrence County Tourism. So I think it was just a miscommunication. From here on out, we can move ahead, and it's all going to be good stuff. Because we're all on the same page. We all want the whole region to grow. We don't want to stand alone, and we have good sense enough to know that we can't stand alone and do any good. So, that being out of the way, that said, and certainly not speaking for any other group or organization, but as far as Trailtown is concerned, we want to work with anybody that wants to work with us, period. And we'll do everything in our power to make whatever the event is successful, because it reflects on all of us as Appalachians, all of us. And in the past, some communities have had differences. That was yesterday, and then it got a thing to do with tomorrow. So, that being said, now I feel like the good man my life has addressed our portion. Marilyn Moonhair has addressed her portion of that. And does anybody have any question about what was said, or what the article read, or what our response was, or what their response was? But I want to give everybody fair bill. And if anybody wants to,
I think you covered it.
if anybody wants to see the messages that were exchanged, we are 100% transparent, and just message me and I'll be happy to send them to you. And that way everybody can read what was exchanged and what was said. Okay, and then one other point of business. Aaron reached out to us a few days ago after our paddling event, and his dad has been a long time community partner, and he was upset, felt like that maybe we didn't appreciate them as much as we do, and nothing could be any further from the truth on that account too. We could not host our paddle events if we could not. We couldn't host them with the kind of integrity that we have right now if we could not say with all certainty that when you come and attend an event that we are hosting, you're going to have the most professional staff accompanying. You are in good hands. They know what they're doing. They're well trained. They're well staffed, and they have the best equipment that there is that money can buy.
Because they don't just go out when they're called when an accident happens. They stay with us.
They stay with us from the get-go.
And it worked out perfect
It does.
on Father's Day. I mean,
Yeah.
we would had to wait on us to.
Exactly. Yep. I think the only difference is if you all have two boats, to have kind of like one in the front that goes back and forth to check on everybody, and then one back there in the back handle like the back half. Because if something were to happen to the very first person,
Right.
then, you know, it would be a long time before these guys had got up. So maybe if that's possible, and I know you have to have volunteers that,
That's
participate,
the
but
biggest thing is finding the,
absolutely.
the
But
pair to do
if
it.
it's possible, that I think would be ideal.
And they're all volunteers, and like Ricky and the Webb boys, and just for the record, we couldn't do what we did. And people couldn't get out and enjoy themselves with us, with good security, if they didn't come and participate. And you all are extremely valuable part of what we're doing.
It's been a long endeavor. When we first moved in up there, they just wanted to know the time frame. Corps of Engineers was on, been able to do water rescue, and the county was wanting to know when we'd be up. And I honestly didn't think that we would be able to do it until 4 or 5 years in up there, and here we're just barely on the two, and we're pretty much standalone, self-sufficient. We have this equipment
Awesome.
up and down Big Sandy River right now.
And a working partnership with the adjoining counties. There, by agreement, by local government agreement, there is working partnership.
Anytime we need help, it's called up, we call Floyd County, and they're more than happy to send us anything that we need.
And see, this right here, a lot of people think, well, there's nothing to do, or that's the problem, is the attractions. But you can have all the attractions, you want to have the infrastructure and these systems, and it won't, it's not.
So y'all may be agreeing, yeah. I hate to-
No,
We're getting ready to turn you loose, so you just
But
go
like with
ahead.
my float, only person I have like going up back and forth with my husband, who's got a John boat and stuff and everything. Would it be, I mean, you know, if like I could reach out to like the fire department, so I need to like put them on standby, hey, I'm having a float just in case something was to happen. Because all large volunteers, it would be like Bellevue volunteer, fire department volunteer.
Rover's done an outstanding swiftwater rescue
They do.
team up
Yeah,
there.
Sean,
They
I
pretty
think Sean
much,
is on.
they pretty much run all the swiftwater for Pike County,
Okay.
and they are outstanding with it. Richie Rose, Mike Brown, all those guys. Just phone up, call them, and said they'd be more than happy to.
Either accompany you, or at least make sure that they're available.
Yeah.
We're doing a safety talk before we start the float, have them come out and do like, the whole, don't panic if you go in the water, don't.
I videoed yours, so that.
Oh, did you? Oh, that's awesome.
We have
Yeah.
So you go into like Martin County, Warfield.
Uh-huh.
Warfield's got a excellent water rescue team also.
Because we're going in at the boat ramp there at Southampton, there by Ellisville Restaurant, and we're floating to Chatterwood. And my husband actually just,
That's not fun.
it's
That's
about,
gonna be a good one.
yeah, it's about 3 hours and stuff. Yeah, we were
You have to remember, the river's not as long as the road.
Right.
Yeah, but it's right at a 3-hour float. Me and my husband floated it. We did some fishing along the way, but right at about 3 hours is how long it takes. And so, see, the biggest problem with Mingo County is they don't have boat ramps.
Not yet.
Not
They're
yet.
working-
They're working
on
on,
it.
yeah, they're working on grants and stuff. But my husband actually made a water access there at Chatterwood more available. And you'll see if you're like on the Friends of the Tug and stuff. But it's right at a 3 hour something. I'm glad we actually came, because I mean, that is something I've always,
Yeah, most
my biggest worry is safety and stuff. So I can just get a hold of them. One of my buddies, Sean Scott, I think he's on the dive team. Or
That name sounds good to me.
or John, no, I take it right. It's either Scott or John, they're brothers, but one of the two I think are close. I'm glad y'all said that, because I had my husband going back and forth, but it's a good idea too to let you guys know, so you all can be on stand. Yeah, because I was panicking, we were supposed to have it last week, and the river rose like 3.5 feet, I'm like, no.
We had to have, how many rescued out the river from the Christmas burger? I think there were 5 people that got it.
I know Friday night,
paddle
we had
fest?
4 people in the river
That's
on
5
the
people
boat,
rescued, wasn't it?
and the river was
I was
up
up there.
and running pretty good.
Yeah,
Had
5
pretty
people.
10, 12 mile an hour current to it. And they had an inexperienced girl in a more experienced kayak.
That's gonna be me. Me right here.
He got away from her, right down the river she went. The rest of them got out of the water,
Right.
and she just kept right on
Just like
going.
carrying it.
That was her second time in a kayak, the first time she's at the lake.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Oh, yeah.
And
Didn't check the weather, didn't.
didn't take the weather into account, and if the Leviathan Fork's muddy, don't get in.
Yeah.
It's swift.
Yeah.
It don't look it, but it is. But the main thing is, bring your PFDs. But she didn't have it on.
Right.
She was holding it. And if she would have turned over,
decided we're gonna do that.
I don't know if we would have been able to have had a good outcome on it or not. Because we're limited on where we can put in the water at.
I've got to run, I got to meet.
Nice
Yeah.
meeting you. I can give you a business card.
No?
Here you go.
Can?
There you go.
They'll be back around there because we're gonna
Yep,
drag them in.
Suck us in.
We're gonna suck 'em in.
Like a sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor. So, yeah, I wanted to just say real quickly, the incidents that happened out at West Van Leer the other night, we were all, as soon as something like that happens, we get a call. As Trail Town, they're like, hey, you know, there's kayakers in the water and they're in trouble and the fire department's out there and we don't know how many people's drowned, it's probably 15 or 20. Yeah, that's basically how the calls go down. That's basically how the messages read.
We got really, really lucky with that call. There was 4 of them. Like I said, 1 got away. And when she's located, the trouble started in Powell Ditching.
Yeah.
And it was on Davis Springs where we caught her.
Right.
And we was really lucky there is we had a Swiftwater tech who was actually at Smoking Butts eating.
Yeah.
And he had emptied the throw bag with him and he went up and hit the bank and brought her in with a throw bag.
Yeah, it
And
just
then-
worked out perfectly.
Then there was 3 more techs showed up. Ricky Joe and Shane and Jeremy was coming in a boat crew.
And Dallas Ward, who's just a really good citizen, got down there on the river barefoot.
And he was
Hey,
going to try to find
get
a
over
way
here,
to,
be still, don't move.
come across with his John boat. And I'm like, I don't think that John boat, that trolling boat will handle her. And when he hit the water right down the river, he went. He had struggled to come back up. And I said, no, this ain't happening. I said, we're going to get her out of the kayak here and put her in a Stokes basket, and she comes up the hillside.
So after this all went down, our Trail Town team started doing some talk, and then we decided that we would be placing what we're going to call good sense signs at the point of entries on the river. That's going to say, we're so glad that you all are here and that you want to enjoy this beautiful scenery on this river, but we want you to use some good sense. 2 of the young ladies the other night, and they were very young, inexperienced, in bathing suits, no life jackets, no shoes, and no previous experience with the water. In a rainstorm with rising water that rose 3 foot in 22 minutes.
Yeah, my float was supposed to be this week. Yeah, that's the main reason why I canceled the float, because like Pete was sending me these water charts because he was helping me and stuff. I love Pete. He
I do too.
actually,
He's great.
he actually umpired when I played softball. in
He's
high
on our
school.
ADA team.
Who?
And you're,
Pete Runyon.
Pete
Yeah,
Runyon,
I know one.
Yeah.
you're gonna be on our ADA team too, by the way. Anywho, so, we decided these good sense signs are gonna be placed at points of entry that we have any impact on, and say, hey, Kelly, come on in, bud. That say, use some good sense, come properly attired, check the weather station, check the water conditions,
Yeah.
and know what you're doing before you get in here. So that, you know, we don't have, it could have gone really bad.
And you
Thank
can
the Lord
say,
it
you have
did.
question backs.
And you guys on down the tug, remember,
Remember.
tug port comes up really fast.
Yeah.
You got
It
your
comes
rain
up
coming
a
down
lot
all those
faster than
creeks
what
coming down the
Life
mountain.
Port does.
Oh,
That's the reason why we have Martin County and Louisa and West Virginia doesn't.
So she had a float last weekend, but she canceled it, very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is safety, you know,
that's-
there's gonna be kids and, you know, I have people saying they're bringing their 2-year-olds and 4-year-olds to float on
Our
the river.
youngest was 3,
Yeah.
that's kayak.
Yeah, and I'm like,
And you know,
I
it's
couldn't
not,
imagine.
yeah, it's not only about kind of being concerned with the safety, because that is a big issue, but as far as getting people to participate, if you have a big disaster,
Nobody's
Nobody's coming back.
Yeah, and who wants
And
to
it's-
float in a mud hole? I mean, he sent me pictures and it was like, it looked like soup beans out there, and I was like.
That's what I love
I
about
was like-
Cassie. I was like black slate things.
And don't forget, I can't remember if it's 14 or 16 years of age, they're bound by law, they have to have PFD on.
yes.
Supposed to have a,
12,
Or is it 12?
it's 12.
Yeah.
personal
But
flotation.
on my event, I looked at it, it's 12 years old, any type of aircraft or boat with a motor. is 12 years of age and stuff. And I think even for kayaks too, that they have to, anything on the water that moves, I think it's like 12. But I put mine at 16 just for mine.
Yeah, just for your
Just
event.
for mine,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
was
you've
like,
covered yourself.
Yeah, we want to make sure at a minimum everybody has one.
Yeah.
It's your choice, but.
Let me introduce you girls, and then I'm gonna turn you loose and let you tell everybody what you're doing. But right behind you, right there, is Kelly Conley. Kelly is our merchant chairperson. Doesn't he look like the everyday businessman?
Hardest working businessman you'll ever meet.
This is one of the hardest working, most successful businessmen that I've known. And that's why we
Hey, you didn't know you
He got the best hamburger.
You're helping out his ego.
Kelly runs a very successful radiator business. He also has rental property. He also has a grocery store. He has, I don't know what all he's got going on. He probably don't want to tell it all. But
I forget.
he forgets conveniently. But no, Kelly is our merchant chair, and we courted him for a long time to be part of Trailtown because he has such a business way about him, and everything he's ever touched has went gold or pink.
And he has a very big following.
He has a huge following of people, just for his, not just his business acumen, but he's just a great all-around guy. And he is helping us to have our first four-wheeler run in Johnson County, organized four-wheeler run.
Yeah, when is it?
July the 28th.
Oh my God, I'm gonna kill you. That's my flow, that's why we stay.
I know.
You're right.
We were gonna start he pointed me, we're not gonna start the ride until 3 because.
Yes, so you
You can float and make it to the, and make it.
anytime.
But we're going to 26-mile trail on four-wheelers of some of the prettiest country that God ever
Yeah, we went out
allowed
on
folks
that
to be
2 weeks
on.
ago.
It's beautiful. It's out in Hargis, and you'll be going out of Johnson County into McGoffin and McGorfin. Into McGoffin and Morgan County, and then back into Johnson County. And then Kelly has a place out in his neck of the woods that some of his fellows refer to as Kellywood. And out at Kellywood, we'll be having Mudslingers Ball. And that will, the music is being organized by one of our local guys, and y'all may have heard of him. His name is Sean Whiting. Well, if you ain't heard that voice sing, you're missing out. You need to YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
But he's gonna put together a little music, and we've had a couple pigs donated. We're gonna go throw some pigs in the ground.
Good time.
Are y'all camping?
If you want to. Kelly don't care.
There's room.
Hey,
There's
listen,
room.
I've got, it's right there at my house, I've got a big front yard and a huge bottom up the holler.
But it's a real nice place.
That's
It's
what I
out.
was telling Wade the other day when I was mentioning to him, you know, right there, their yard is a great big parking area for people that.
We're gonna
like
need it the way
off-road.
this thing's going.
I think
As
he's
long as it ain't wet, my yard's fine.
I think the
My
way,
yard's wet, though.
what we're hearing is,
So,
Well, it's not really soft, it's just where it's got that drain
yeah.
slope on it. If you don't have guitars, you're ruined.
so, whatever you're comfortable with doing, if you want to stand up here to where you can see how pretty you are and talk, or you can sit right where you're at and talk. But,
George Shallow, I'm just here.
this is Cassie Diamond, you all, Cassie.
Since everybody's already coming this way, I'll just stand back here since his camera's this way.
That's my shirt.
Oh, yeah.
It's just how pontoon.
I just have one
Throw them if you got them.
I need one.
I'm
Charlie.
16.
So,
I've got a few. It depends on what size you need. I've got a few extras. So yeah, we might. If not, I might be able to order some. Like she said, my name is Cassie Diamond. I'm with Wildlife Women. Erin Stubbs is also with Wildlife Women. She is our marketing director, the chapter leader over
Boyd Green in Carter County.
in Carter County. I'm just a chapter leader. I just got started back in February, and my counties include Mingo, Wayne, and Logan County, West Virginia. I live in Pike County, so but we already had a chapter leader. Her name is Ashley Nicole in Pike County, and she actually covers Johnson and too, but she couldn't be here today. She had to work, but. Wildlife Women is a nonprofit organization. It was started back about 2 years ago now. We are a 501c3, so anything that we raise money for, things like that, goes for a different purpose and things like that. It's not to, benefit us or anything like that. But what our organization really is all about is it's to get women more involved in the outdoors, whether it be hunting, fishing, kayaking, ATV riding, just whatever, 5Ks, just to get women involved and things like that, because hunting's been a male-dominant thing for a long time. Women more so are coming into it and things like that. And honestly, I had never hunted until about 3 years ago when I met my husband. That's when I first started, doing it. I had camped my whole life, I'd fished my whole life, done all that and stuff. Like I said the other day, growing up with 13 cousins and being the only girl in the group, I was raised like one of the boys and things like that, so I know how to get dirty. There's a lot of women that don't feel comfortable doing things like that, and they're around a bunch of men, don't mean that, bad towards the males in here, but they feel inferior, and they sometimes get discouraged and things like that, especially when it comes to shooting guns and things like that. So what we try to do is we try to bring events to our local areas and things like that to get the women out and be like, hey, it's just going to be a bunch of women. We're going to be shooting our guns, we're going to be, riding ATVs, we're going to be teaching you these things. And it's not just about getting them out to do it, it's also teaching them how to. Skills, safely. Every event we have has a safety meeting, before we get started. It's like I just hosted a carry and conceal class, and it was for all women. I had a gentleman come in, he was the football coach at Belfry Middle School, he was the assistant coach. And I had 10 ladies show up, and they were, all from different ages. I actually had one lady, I believe she was in her 70s. Cool. Coming to get her carry. She had a .22 revolver that was older than me and stuff. And she came to me after the class. She said, I never came and got mine because I didn't want. She said I was too nervous to shoot in front of a bunch of men. And she said I thought that I'd get up there and they'd poke fun at me because I didn't know, but I want to learn how to protect myself and things like that. And so we covered the safety basics and all that. And my mom was one of the very ones that came to the class. I grew up. My grandfather was a military-minded man. He was in the Army for 16 years. And so I thought this whole time my dad knew all there was to know about guns. He did.
Not so much.
No. Matter of fact, he won a shotgun at a Christmas party a couple of years ago. He just reached it to my husband about 2 months ago, right before my carry and conceal class. He's like, can you show me how this thing works? He's like, have you not oiled this thing in 2 years? Thank goodness it hadn't pitted or rusted. I don't know how it didn't. But I mean, I really thought that, that my grandfather would have taught him a lot of these things. And so he hadn't, so, my mom's been with him since she was 15, so of course she didn't know. So it was really awesome to be able to, to teach her, and it made me feel comfortable, if my mom's out and my dad ain't around, that, she knows how to take, to defend herself. And so that's what we're about, we're about, taking women and teaching them how to do things and, teaching them how to hunt and how to, harvest their own animals. It ain't just about the hunt, it's about teaching them how to, to clean them and prepare them to actually cook.
First of all, they were out I grew up hunting, but one of my college roommates, a gal, the first time I ever took her hunting, she said, I whipped out that gun knife. She said, what do you want to have? We got a gun. She said, right here.
Yeah. The first time my husband gutted the deer in front of me, I thought I was going to pass out. Just for saying, I had never, I had never hunted, like I said, we hunted and fished and all that, but my dad just never had the heart. I mean, even when I call him and I'm all excited, hey Dad, I just took down a deer, he's like, that's good, honey. So he still is, my little girl, she's 11, and she's not as sports oriented as far as like basketball things. She loves the outdoors. And one of her favorite things now is she loves coon hunting. That's one of her.
Cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
builder too.
Yeah.
Super, if you know how to do that.
Do what now?
It's a confidence builder for
yeah.
You can handle a gun, you can pretty much.
Oh yeah. And I mean, so far she's she's killed a coyote. She went coyote hunting. She loves it. And she loves her favorite is coon hunt. That's her all-time favorite. I took her deer hunting. I took her, everything. But now, for some reason, them old coons has just got her. And but I think too, like with the deer hunting, she can't pull enough poundage back yet with her bow. So this year we're going to buy her a crossbow so that she can, because she has so much patience. And I mean, I've never seen a kid really just kind of. I mean, she'll sit blind with you all day and never say peep. So I'm like, I've got to do something where she can take one of these things down. But anyway, that's pretty much us in a nutshell. We've got chapters. We started out in Kentucky, and now we've got chapters in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Alabama, and Utah. Right. So I mean, we're getting spread far now, and like we were joking earlier, we do have a reality TV show, Hometown.
Not like Kardashian reality.
No.
Not that real.
No.
Like real.
Yeah.
Not scripted.
No, you can definitely tell what you.
Real. It's
Yeah.
definitely not scripted. There's leaks and there's.
Yeah. But Hometown 24 out of Hyman is the ones that set us up with that, and our TV show airs every Thursday at 8 o'clock, and it covers everything from camping to ATV. Our biggest one that me and Erin has been in is she hosted a huge ATV ride at the Rush Off-Road Park. And we got some really good footage on it and stuff. We hit the mud holes, and it about cost
When
me
she
the
says
horse.
we, she means her.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm the crazy one. I don't know, but I think
More outgoing.
Well, I mean, I think when you drive an ATV, the whole purpose is to get it dirty.
Oh, yeah.
To get it muddy. My husband, not so much so. When he's seen the video footage of his T-Rex getting stuck and having to be winched out of a 4-foot deep mud hole, he was not.
That's nearly done. That's nearly done.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it was like coming up. My mom went with me, and it was actually coming up over her lap. Yeah,
When we went to Mathis Trail that we're going to ride at Kelly's, we were, my husband and I, my daughter rode in a Jeep, Cherokee with a guy. And there was a fallen tree. We actually ended up tearing the roof off of it. And you couldn't open the side doors. And then when we got back, it was totally covered in mud. I was like, it's much prettier though.
And he didn't even blink an eye.
No, he was like,
He didn't blink an eye. He's like,
okay, you can't open the garage door to get out.
You're going to have to teach my husband that it's awesome. Because he was like, the only thing he's thinking of is I'm going to have to replace bearings, I'm going to have to replace
I came home with the television light on. So.
Oh, every light was on the dash.
I was going to make payments on mine, so I was worried.
You should have got Michael Joe, let him drive around.
All that would have been the trip.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what, I mean, like our TV show covers everything. I think this past weekend it covered our AR event. We actually have a guy with the NRA that comes out and hosts or teaches AR shooting and things like that. And it's really fun. I mean, I had never shot an AR just because that's just not a weapon that's at my home and stuff. My son just thinks they're the best things in the world. But that's just something that I haven't purchased yet and stuff. I like my, 243 and, things like that as far as deer hunting.
Yeah, 243 too.
Yeah, and so I had never shot one. Well, I went to this AR thing, and, there's a completely different stance apparently when you shoot an AR versus shooting a regular deer rifle. And John Moreau, he has been with the NRA for 7 years now.
we have a chapter here with John.
Oh, really? So y'all know him really well. Well, you can ask. He calls me the deer hunter because every time he would find me shooting, I'd be standing this way instead of shooting this way. So he'd come up and kick me and tell me to fix my legs. But we have, just a broad, array of different types of events, and it's not just focused on, the rafting or the, hunting or whatever. It's just everything that you can think of outdoors, whether it's archery or, whatever. But we do,
Horses.
Horses,
We
yeah.
have a chapter in Lake Cumberland. Kelly Crow's the chapter leader down there, and she has horses, and she does a lot of equestrian events. And then Samantha in Leslie County, she's into horses. I used to have horses, but then I moved to the city, and
Turns out they don't like livestock in subdivisions, so.
They let you have chicken?
Well,
See, that's just
I ain't tried
communism. They don't let you
chicken
have a
yet.
chicken. That's just
You
communism.
should see those little old people when I come dragging dead animals through their yard, though. I'm like my family is the equivalent to the Clampets
In your subdivision.
in my subdivision.
Well, you know, it makes the place more colorful.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
They
You got-
appreciate me when like people start knocking on doors at 3 o'clock in the morning and we chase them down the street with shotguns.
Yeah,
They
right.
appreciate me then.
Then, yeah.
Yeah.
And jerky time when you make jerky.
Oh, absolutely.
You're the queen of the.
When they're having wine and cheese and you go dragging through there with the carcass,
They
not
love
so
it.
much.
I'm like spraying the blood off the grass.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, when I was like 12, my brother-in-law tried to horrify, and I was like, I was posting with the deer, and he's like shoving me in his stomach.
Oh, yeah, I get all kinds of great
People
stuff.
horrified. They're like,
Post my
oh,
little
no.
girl shit stuff. I mean, it's just, there's people come out of the woodworks to
Yeah.
let you know how wrong you are and things like that. But I mean, to each their own. You know,
Each their own.
I'm not gonna tell somebody that don't like deer hunting that, you know, that they're wrong for it.
Yeah.
You know, that's their.
More that enjoys it.
Yeah, and some people don't like guns, some people don't like the NRA. I mean, it is, you know, we're
don't
not
have to
here
participate.
to judge.
It's a free country.
Yeah, exactly.
Our platform it's very open. You know, if you came to me and you said, hey, I would really like to learn how to underwater basket weave, then by golly, I'm gonna find somebody that can underwater basket weave and make that event happen because I'm gonna learn something from it. You know, I've challenged myself with a lot of events. That AR-15 class, I've got an AR-15 sitting at the house, had it for years. Never reached for it. I don't like it, it's heavy, it's gaudy. It's just not something I reach for. Now, by golly, that class is fun.
Oh, yeah.
You're
it's a
crawling
ball.
on your belly, you're standing, shooting off barrels, you're switching right-handed to left-handed. I mean, it's a ball of fun.
And I learned that I like iron sight versus optic sights.
I like iron sights.
I can shoot 10 times better with iron sights than I can, you know, looking at that dot or that, you know, crosshairs and stuff. So, I mean, we're all learning. And that's one thing
That's
that
the beauty of it.
and that's one thing we'll tell you. None of us are experts at anything.
No.
You know, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that, you know, I can tell you every which way how to gut a deer properly or how to shoot a turkey or whatever. We're all learning. And, you know, when we have these classes, we bring people in that can teach not only just the girls or whoever that's there, but also, you know, us, because we're still learning.
Right.
And so, I mean, that's the great thing about it is that we're all just learning together, and it's a really good environment and things like that. And we do have family events and stuff. You know, I've got 3 kids. Aaron's got 3 kids. You know, my little girl, every time I go to an event, Mom, when do I get to go? You know,
We all can relate to that.
you know, the guns we do require a certain age limit just because, you know, insurance purposes and, you know, things like that. And so, you know, when I go out, you know, she's already shooting hers. She's like, well, I already shoot anyway. Why can't I go? You know, but we do, you know, just like with this river float that I'm having on July the 28th, it's a family event. You know, that's something that everybody can come out and do. We're only charging $10 per person, and the only reason why we're doing that is, you know, we're going to shuttle from point A to point B. You know, we're going to have everybody park at the end, their vehicles at the end of the float, and we're going to shuttle you back to the front so that we all can start at the same time.
And you ain't found anybody that will donate gas yet, have you?
No.
That's why we gotta charge.
Yeah, that's why we gotta charge. But then, you know, we also, we use that money, whatever's left over, to host more events.
Exactly.
You know, we do that, you know, because for the longest time, they wasn't charging, you know, events before I came, they wasn't charging. And, you know, and it was just getting to the point where it was coming out of, you know, too much out of their pockets, and it wasn't fair to, you know, expect, yeah, so y'all know how that goes.
$50 in drinks,
Yeah.
$30 in drinks, that's how.
Yeah.
So we know, yeah, we get that.
So, but each chapter that we have has a chapter leader. And we are, I guess, what do you call that, required or, we're required to host 6 events in our area a year. And it can be of our choosing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, you know, what it is, you know, I could do fishing, hunting, whatever. It's whatever that we feel comfortable and who we can get to come in and teach the class and things like that. So,
Who's our contact person for here again?
her name is Ashley.
Tackett.
Oh,
Ashley.
sorry, her Facebook is Ashley Nicole.
Yeah,
but-
Ashley Tackett.
Yeah.
She's been working a lot with Jenny Wiley. They were trying to set up some seasonal events that she could do out at the park and things like that. She held an AR-15 class.
In Paintsville. Yeah, that's the one that was the first Wildlife Women event that I actually
Is
attended.
Kelsey with you guys?
Kelsey Packett, she related. She shared my picture today, and I used to work with her at Jenny Wiley, and I said that they're probably.
I'd say her and Ashley may have time together and stuff. I know Ashley
If
was
she's
wanting
not
to
a
come
wildlife
because she
woman,
said
she
she didn't
already-
have that many contacts down here, but
Yeah.
unfortunately she
We
couldn't
can
get
help
out.
her with that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the main reasons why we came, we want to get, involved and, meet everybody, especially in our areas and stuff. Because like I said, my chapters are in West Virginia, but I live in Pike County. So I hunt, fish in both states, I've got license in both states and things. I deer hunt mostly in West Virginia, but I fish mostly in Pike and stuff like that. It's just the way that it is. There's bigger deer right now in West Virginia, that's why over there. There's all of the big ones.
Exactly.
But I feel like, Pike County's my home, and I want to bring just as much to Pike as I do to Mingo. And that's one of the reasons why I started my float in Kentucky and ended it in West Virginia, because I wanted both states to benefit from it and to have people come in and things like that. But yeah.
I wish it went on the same day. I'd be kidding.
Oh yeah,
I'll be out.
That's how she took my date too. I was going creek fishing on that day. I
I
bought kayaks just for her float.
Yeah.
I didn't even own one.
know how hard it is to plan.
Well, it is hard with the weather.
It
That's
is.
like the Southern Fair event, the four-wheeling event that I had to rush. We had beautiful weather. Like, there was like over 100 ladies confirmed coming. Like, the park had cleared off this whole big spot for us, and Thursday, it just rained. Till Sunday, like on and off. It was terrible. This one right here split every mud hole there was wide.
That makes it more fun. I hope it rains before ours.
Yeah.
It was.
I think rain with those type of events is good, because not only it's not dusty. Because that first day when we were setting up camp and stuff,
Oh, it's
it was
all
pretty
out
dusty.
Yeah, it was nice.
I
The
mean,
weather was perfect.
And so when it just kind of laid that dust down, and it made it so much more fun. I think the rain actually is what
Probably
made
the
that
perfect
event.
way would be is if it was raining in the morning,
Yeah.
by the time the ride was ready, the sun was out, it'd be right.
Yeah, that'd be perfect for it.
You still got some mud and you got some sand.
Oh man, it made a great TV show though. We took the footage from that, and that was one of our premiere episodes when they launched their TV show. Mine is Cassie almost getting divorced. It was phenomenal. It was good TV. It was good. TJ was sitting in the back room, and me and Cassie was in the front, and she was like, "I might be getting divorced after this." I'm like, "It's all right. I'll take you somewhere. You go stay with me."
And we're just teasing he didn't care, but I mean, for a week I did hear, you could have washed it before you brought it home. And then when he did see the video, my husband made on the front of our T-Rex, we have a custom built grill on the front and stuff. It actually, but he welded it, and it looks like it's made with the T-Rex and stuff like that. But in that one video, because there really wasn't nothing to latch on to, because he hooked that front grill to the actual pull bar in the front, so you just see it slowly coming off the front. I hadn't told him about that part just yet, so I didn't.
That was my grill.
But like I said, he would do anything, just like this, with the float and everything. He volunteered. He actually went and bought a 4-horsepower motor to go on his John boat. So if y'all see one flying, it's him. But he did that instead of the trolley motor, so that we wouldn't have the problem that you were talking about with that little fella and stuff. But I mean, it's all in good fun and things like that. And like I said, he's the one that taught me how to hunt. I had never even held a bow until that was his first present to me, with my first bow and stuff. And but
It was love from there on out.
oh yeah, he told me how to kill. I said he told me how to kill stuff. Of course, Now he sleeps with one eye open. I'm just kidding. But that's pretty much Wildlife Women. That's what we're about. I think I've pretty much.
What do we need to do to be a member? If you want to be members, what do we need to do? See the woman with the paperwork.
Yeah, I brought our membership. The good thing is where there
Men
is so.
can be members.
Men,
FYI.
we can't.
He's got a nice
Yeah, we don't
wife. She can
discriminate
be
and
there.
stuff. for one
Well,
to
one
all.
membership covers the whole
But
family.
that's what we want to do. And if you're into hunting and things like that, or fishing, our memberships are really worth a while. Our lowest paid membership is $25, and you can donate all the way, I think we got 2,000 and above.
There's no cap on
Yeah,
that.
there's no
There's no
cap.
cap on how much you can give us.
That's all for like businesses and things like that want to buy in and things like that. But with each paid membership, we have discount cards that you get. And what it is that we'll send you a card in the mail. And I don't know if I printed off. I thought I did, but maybe
We
not.
have over 30 vendors that contribute to that card, and that grows every time somebody else finds out about Wildlife Women.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got grassroots companies. There's a company called VA Gear Outdoors from up in southern Indiana. I mean, when I say grassroots, I'm talking like it's like a husband, wife, and a mother-in-law that run this.
That's cool.
And yeah, it is cool. And you know, it might be something you want to talk to them about too, because you're talking about rock climbing and rappelling. That's actually the basis of their company. They started off with like, I don't know anything about rock climbing at all, but like apparently there's pouches they wear on a belt and they put stuff in it.
Yeah, that's where you go put your rugs.
So
I
that's
just heard
where
that.
that's where they started, and then they started branching over into archery. And they followed me on Instagram. I didn't know about them, and he reached out to him and he was like, "Hey, you guys are doing really cool stuff. Archery's kind of my niche. I just actually had an archery event last night. Took 6 ladies up to an indoor range, and we just kind of had ladies' night at the range. That's a second part to the first archery event I had earlier in the year, where we did a seminar. We had a speaker come in, kind of give the basics of archery, breaking down like even how to put your feet on the shooting line, you know, type deal. And it's hard because you've got deer nuts like me who are like, you teach them how to hunt and vital organs, and you know, then I have like literally a lady from India who by culture should never hold a weapon in her hand, driving bullseye targets all night long. And so it's super rewarding to
How cool
experience
is that?
Yeah, it's super cool. And the video through the back is really cool too, because she's like jumping up and down and squealing like a little girl every time she hits the target.
And she's not sending that back to her family in India.
No. They'll never see that.
No, they'll never see that.
But yeah, so our membership, the discount card, I mean, we've got camo companies on there. We've got doTERRA essential oils. It's a wide variety. There's makeup companies on there. It benefits a whole family. It's a very broad spectrum. In the future, some events are going to be closed to members only. And you know, that's to encourage people to join the membership and reap the full benefit of having a
Makes
membership.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So, from the marketing side, you know, Wildlife Women sells itself. We're a good time, you know. Cassie and I, like, we've realized we're the same person. So it's a good thing that Wildlife Women brought us together and not like the same mom, because I feel sorry for that mom. It would have been trouble, but I kind of have a similar background. My dad was an Eagle Scout, and I'm his only son.
Yeah.
So I
My dad was a Marine.
I can take a carburetor apart, clean it, put it back together, but don't ask me to bake you a pie, because it ain't going to happen. So Bridget approached me to join Wildlife Women, and I put her off forever, because I was like, man, I don't have time. I'm a cardiac sonographer in a hospital. I take call. I've got 3 kids. Like, who has time to organize events? And my husband was in my ear, and he's like, you really need to do it. And I was like, okay, well, you're really going to have to be Mr. Mom when I'm done, you know, like when I'm gone all the time. And he really has been. He doesn't have a choice now, because I'm like, bye. But it really has been an awesome experience so far, and it's been really cool finding out about groups like yours that, I mean, I've lived in Kentucky my whole life. I never knew this was a thing.
Me neither. I had no clue. I knew Pete. I didn't even know Pete was the one that had started the Friends of Tug. And and I mean, I've been on it. I think I've been on it for a year now, and it just, you know, I got to thinking. I'm like, you know, this is a float, and they're about the river. I'm gonna post it. You know, see if I can post it on there. Well, then he calls me or messages me first, and he was like, you know, I'm Pete Runyon. I'm like, Pete, do you know who you're talking to? And he was like, no,
Probably
I don't.
not.
But well, my last name had changed.
Right.
And so he's like, no, I really don't. I said, do you remember that catcher from Belfry, Cassie Barney? Why, Lord, yeah. And from then on, he knew who I was and stuff. So, but I mean, I never knew that this was, that this was so big and things like that. So I'm like her, you know, I love the fact that, you know, and you know, because people always holler in your area, there's nothing to do.
Yeah, they have to be living under a rock shelter.
Yeah.
Well, I always thought like trails and stuff like this were reserved for like state parks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, I mean, I just ran the haulers when I was young, you know.
And we still do, don't we?
But I didn't know that there was like an organized Holler runners.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Organized.
And things
We might just trespass.
organized trespassers.
Yeah.
Organized
That's even better.
We need to coin that.
Yeah.
Organized holler runners.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But no, we say that in jest, but we have actually legislation now that is almost 2 years old. It was actually drafted 2 years ago and 1 year ago became Kentucky legislation. And it authorized a group called the Kentucky Mountain Regional Recreation Authority. It's a mouthful, KMRRA. And each of the 19 counties that are participating has a representative. I'm blessed to get to represent our area.
Yeah.
The idea was to make this authority so that people would open up private lands
Right,
to
yeah.
public trespass and encourage them to let people come on them and make trails and let them come across them with bike runs and let them come across them with four-wheelers
Yeah.
and also to absorb some of the liability.
Yeah.
Because that most people, probably 97 out of 100 if you ask them, did we come across you and ride some four-wheelers? The very
No,
first thing they
you're
think
gonna
was,
sue
yeah, so you can sue me? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where the authority came in and where the legislation comes in. That authority covers a lot of the insurance liability issues. So that makes people want to be more given of their land. And where there's, there's not large chunks of, with the exception of Kelly, he owns half of Johnson County. But there's not.
Fingers pointing at you tonight.
Yeah.
With the exception
I
of,
need to sit in front of you.
with the exception of landowners like himself, there's not a lot of people that own significant chunks of ground
And are willing to let.
and are willing to let people on them. So what we
Well,
have
that's because you get those bad apples.
You do.
Exactly.
Like, it just takes one bad apple to ruin the bush.
That's right.
Yeah.
And everything.
We're very blessed in organizing this trespassing. We're all staying on the same page. We're
Yeah.
all following the same rules. We're all trying to do what's best for our communities and not hurt anybody.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not our goal to have a landowner hurt the process.
Yeah.
So that's
And yeah, you can look into it, for your events because it's all Kentucky.
it's all of Kentucky, and actually West Virginia has a similar authority, and Virginia has a similar authority.
See, that's my biggest thing, like with West Virginia right now, is, all my contacts are in Pike County. And I know the law when, because I'm
Because you're
paralegal,
paralegal.
but, West Virginia, two different.
Another animal.
Yeah, two different.
He can help you with the contacts there because when he first started, and I've been with the Friends of the Tug since it started because of the regional appeal.
Right.
When he first started, the West Virginia Heritage Council, which is in charge of tourism there and everything like that, put him in contact with the West Virginia Department of Natural Resources. And when they started that partnership, then it became very evident to the local lawmakers over there that this thing's worth getting behind, and they did. They got behind it. So they have an authority. They have people to mitigate the laws in West Virginia and in Virginia and now in Kentucky too, to help people with making these trails legal, making it legal to do it. Legalize trespassing.
Do you have any papers with all that on it?
I can point you in the, you mean of the,
I've been hearing a lot of talk around the house where the people's hearing about this ride thing.
yeah,
Legislation.
Talking about the
actually
land
says-
and.
Yeah, I
this
can-
and that. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's taken care of somewhere.
yes. It's
But,
KRS 411 is actually the initial legislation that was put through during the Bashir administration. And then we have a House bill that was passed last April, May, thereabouts, that established the authority. That before we have the run, we're going to print that. We printed it before in the paper, Waylon, right after it happened, didn't we? This
Or
is
maybe
my son, Waylon
we could
Wilson. He's a
post
reporter with the
some.
local paper.
If we had some of them to post out
Yeah.
or in the area there.
Yeah, so people see it, post them in your store and that kind
And
of.
we
Yeah.
want those local landowners that have any questions to come to us prior to the run.
But
and
I
say-
told them that if they needed to, I would get them in touch with you.
Yep, and we want them to. We want them to be engaged in the process, because the more people that are on the same page, the smoother it's going to go.
Which way you go with it?
It'll start right there and go up Spawns and all around the the reason that we come up with that MJM Powerhouse Trails, all those little roads and trails back in there, there used to be little houses sitting everywhere with big motors in them that pumped all those wells. They pulled sucker rods from everywhere. And so when we come up with that name, we tried to include Morgan, Johnson, and McGoffin because it covers all those counties. And then we just come up with that MJM Powerhouse Trail because that's the old trails from all the powerhouses.
And they're awesome trails, beautiful country, God's country. Gary McClure, who is our emergency management chair for the committee, here has worked multiple partnerships with a lot of counties on different emergency management things, and he is currently getting it locked down with Morgan and Goffin County to partner with the emergency management side of it, so that we will have people with us on the day.
So you have safety crew at every meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, when we have hawks, they come too.
Really?
They'll have,
That's
yeah,
phenomenal.
we'll radio them and we have, you know, cell phone
We have
contact
lake
or
paddles,
whatever
they
with
come out
them,
there.
so. We try
They're
to pack,
essential.
you know, first aid kits in our backpacks, and we'd like for our trail guides to be at least first aid and CPR certified. We haven't all gotten that, but, you
It's
know,
in the
in lieu
works.
of that.
I think we probably covered 80% of everything y'all
Machete
do.
and hatchet.
Because it's all just around the lake or on water.
Yeah, and you, West Bandler covers it when we're on the dock.
When you go to the dock.
So we have emergency personnel all the time.
They live with us on the lake road.
Brian is gonna probably station out
First
for the couple of cruise.
The second
Because
house.
there's really not a lot of mileage in Johnson County.
No.
So we, instead of trying to follow all the way through, we'll just station out for we can wait really
That's
quick.
what I was gonna say. They're a little money for it, but have somebody there.
And then we can pick up
We don't get
the
them on the trail where they did it.
and Jellicoe, Rockport.
And
And then we're gonna go through Long Creek.
We'll go down toward the
Show up.
Go down in there and by,
I have a map, I'm not
go over
publishing
to
it, but I
MJM, up to the Texas around Virginia Valley Trail.
Yeah.
Come
I
back
don't
through
have-
Lacey, and then come back across.
As long as there's one person on the floor.
we went, I'm after, I forgot to publish it. So you can't, but I'll send it to you. That's okay.
But we're on the
Oh, yeah. Yeah, really, truly, you need
Yeah,
to
I
go
learned most of
over
the back on there, I just made it.
Not a lot.
You'd probably be better off.
That's why I forgot, that's why I forgot.
But they might want to get involved anyway, and they can
But we're all
go over there around the
But at the time,
quarry.
we had scheduled to have,
So,
But
does anyone have any
eventually,
questions
It
of
will
these
go
two
into that
beauties?
because that trail goes all the way to Cave Run.
Oh, we already contacted Brown County to try to figure out where we can connect. We want to do it all.
Oh,
Who
yeah,
has
that's,
the contact for me in Boyd County, or Greenup, or Carter
To do
County?
Trail Town?
Yeah.
Oh, well, in Olive Hill, you have a very, very progressive Trail Town group.
Really?
In Olive Hill, extremely progressive group. And I'll tell you, the best contact that can get you in contact with everybody that has its fingers on the pulse of what everybody's doing is Tim Preston.
on
And
Facebook, it's Al and Tim, one word, Preston.
and he's a reporter,
good musician too.
great musician, good
Super cool
reporter.
guy.
Super cool guy, and he knows what's going on. And then if you need to get anything in the paper here, behind me, this is Waylon Whitson. And Waylon is my son, bless his heart. And then, on top of that, he's a newspaper reporter for the Paintsville Herald and writer, and an awesome musician with a locally, well, they're not playing too much local now. They're out like big clubs, Lexington and Huntington and stuff, but he plays a progressive rock band called Technicolor Nightmare. He's a guitarist.
I feel like there's so many musicians we've talked about tonight, it's crazy.
There's a lot of music in these hills.
There is.
Well,
If you don't know somebody that plays music,
Yeah.
then,
I don't know.
who do you know?
Last year we had a thing, it was a beer festival, and it was a craft festival, and we had all kinds of like local talent come, and it was all downtown. It was the first
gonna have to
event
do
where you
this
could
year.
actually
Missed
drink
that.
on
That's what I mean.
in town, here.
In town on the business.
Cool.
We're having it again this year. We'd love for y'all to come and join us.
Yep.
Tourism has open mic once a month, and it's crazy.
It's crazy insane. You can't go to Nashville and hear that kind of music.
I mean,
Y'all want to hear my dad sing. My dad's
Bring
bringing
him.
prettiest voices, and I'm not
Yeah.
saying it just because he's
Open
mine.
mic once a month.
Huh?
Open mic
Yeah, I'm
once
gonna
a
have to
month.
tell him about
Bring
it.
him.
yeah, really.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
people that come from all
Now
over.
me,
Like,
I sound like a cat squealing when you try to take a bath, but.
Yeah. Turn it up about
Nice cat.
Yeah, now he swears I don't, but I swear I do.
Being nice.
I think it's just because I'm his kid and you don't want to hurt my.
We're shooting for September the 15th. We're gonna have it before Apple Day. I
That's
guess
gonna be
we're gonna
opening bow season.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
Heck on it.
But see, you go hunting and then you gotta have something to do after you've done made your kill.
Yeah, it happens in the evening.
It's a
Take it early,
celebratory
go.
thing.
Yeah, you get it cracking on.
We can come after it gets dark, because if they start, it's nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
Right.
should go ahead.
This past year, our inaugural event, we had 22 artists, including chainsaw artists, painters, writers, you name it, the art was there. We had 16 bands, and it was a pretty good section of all the kind of local talent there is, except the prog rock band. Don't do that. Yeah. That anyway.
you got up there and played with Possum though.
He did, he played the possum, flying possum over around town. But, we had craft beer, and we had lots of domestic beer.
You had craft beer this time, it was.
Yeah, it was, that was all.
I did
Craft
something
beer.
like that in Ashland like 2 weekends ago or something. There's some kind of beer festival downtown. I don't participate in that kind of
The
stuff.
craft beer sounded good, but it wasn't. You get little cups like this, and it didn't taste very good.
Y'all need to bring like moonshine.
Yeah, that's
Moonshine, not beer.
We had a surprise reporter go with us on our paddle on Father's Day. We didn't know that she was a reporter and outdoor author.
Yeah.
That was a good move on her part.
We got to the end, I was, where did she was talking to them, I was like, where did she come from? I never
She
saw
waited until we all got on the water, and she had
Yeah.
brought some family members, and then she got on the water because she wanted to experience it for the real, for what it was.
Yeah.
Put on a show.
And
Yeah.
she does a KET program,
cool.
and she had a good time.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Bring
Lord.
moonshine on
Yeah.
No.
But she brought it up.
Oh, yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like, I do
You
this
can.
I do this KET program where we highlight trails and we got to tie in some alcohol. Well, that's cool.
You can drink on the
So,
river. You can drink on the river.
yeah,
You can drink on the lake, you can drink on the river.
she suggested that we tie in something with moonshine.
Really?
Not that we
Yes.
have, not that we have.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, it's not advisable to get dark.
Right, yeah.
But you can take a cooler in your computer.
No, they still get you for boating under the influence on the roof.
Oh, yeah, DUI,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but
actually,
they
I
don't,
got
they don't bring
DUI.
you citation
I
for
got
having open
the DUI.
container
Yeah, well,
on
on
the
a
river.
lake, you're not allowed to have
Cutting
alcohol.
his grass,
Period.
drinking
The
beer.
president.
And
On
a
poor
police
property.
officer drove by and saw him and took him to jail. DUI on a tractor.
Well,
He was cut
That's
grass.
long.
You get DUI.
A mule.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
But I
Remember
was
the guy the other day carrying it
I
on
ain't never
bicycle?
seen nobody
Yeah.
ride sideways on a mule for that long of a period of time in my
She
whole
needs to be
life.
Michael Joe.
It might have been him, who knows?
I'm almost falling over on 321.
That's too great.
Yeah.
Any of yous know any
And he's
motorcycle
an
enthusiasts?
exposure.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like riding motorcycles?
Yeah. Like my Harleys and stuff?
Mhm.
Yeah. I know.
July 27th and 28th,
Uh-huh.
Brothers Keepers Motorcycle Club is having a burn run in Prestonsburg. Most of everything takes place on the 28th, but
Yeah.
Which is the
they've
day.
got
That day
stuff.
is-
Best day ever.
They had like 200
It's the
vendors
ever
signed up
song.
to be there to sell different items. They'll be moving in there on Friday,
Uh-huh.
so if you want to visit on Friday night, they raise money for Shriners Hospital's Chipley in Cincinnati for Kate and Tilba.
That's where I get my moonshine, is the Shriners. I won't lie, they make the best out of North Carolina.
They give every dime that Brothers Keepers makes goes to Kate and Tilba there in northern Kentucky.
Uh-huh.
It's Shriners Kate for burn
Aw.
kid survivors.
That's awesome. That's awesome. See, I'm actually, that's one of my events that I'm thinking about. I've got to check the legalities, because we're a 501c. There's some things we can do and some things we can't do.
Yeah.
But I was looking into doing a poker run and stuff, because not only do we have to host 6 events a year, one of our events has to be a charity event and stuff. And one foundation that's close to me, it's Hunter syndrome for children. Can't remember what the actual, it's a funky term that they call it. But one of my coworkers, when I first started working at Bayard, her son was diagnosed with it. And it is a genetic thing, you know, they're born with it and things like that. And as they progress, it's like they do so well to a certain point, and then they start regressing back and stuff. And I think like that age group, I think like their life expectancy is like
8 to 11 years.
20.
20 years old.
20, yeah. But they do a lot of research with it, and she's actually blessed enough that her son's in a trial, a medical trial, or clinical trial rather, that they're trying to break. The biggest thing is they're trying to break the brain barrier, is what they call it. And he's got like a port, and he goes to like Duke University like every so often, and he gets an infusion and stuff done. But it's Hunter syndrome, and actually my only 5K that I ever run was because she hosted it in Ashland, and it was to raise money for these clinical trials for these kids. And I mean, it just tugged at my heartstrings. So that's the charity that I'll be donating to. And I haven't decided if I'm gonna do a 5K, or I've been checking in to see if we could actually do the poker run with the motorcycle. So I'll let y'all know.
Let us know too with Heart of the Dragon, so we can help, you know, whatever you decide to do. If it's on one of our trails, either on the main heart or into the heart trail.
Yeah, I'd love to get a map of where your all's trail is.
I'll send you
and
one.
stuff.
You'll love it. It looks like a heart.
That's awesome. Now, which counties did you say that it covered?
All of the 19 Appalachian counties.
So like,
Come up from Whitesburg up 119 and come over through Pike County and into Martin County, and then loops around, and all the way around the heart it has veins that come into.
So we could start out in Mingo County, because I mean,
You could,
most of my
yeah.
events have to be based out of West Virginia.
You sure
And I
could.
could start in Mingo and come through Pike County and hit part of the heart. and things like
How
that.
long is it
That would
before
be
they
awesome.
actually have all this
The
signage?
signage probably is going to take with, we have a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
That's what the Pew Authority was designed on, a 5-year plan. We're only 1 year into it. And the first year is just identifying pieces of park.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they actually have some people that work the.
I don't know how
Come in, they wrote
how the poker
part of that route.
But even,
And they
maybe
said
it's not
that
under
the ramp
poker run,
from
just
IDS
like
to
a ride.
Commonwealth and
Can you do like a
Paintsville, across
motorcycle
40
ride
east there,
without the poker
was
run
one of the
involved?
most challenging routes they ever
50
rode.
city
And
we got t-shirts.
We plan on, that comes right by my house, so they're asking. We plan on having, we've got pieces into it already.
So is that a
And we're trying to
Facebook
pull
page
in
for the
the
Dragon?
streets, and we plan on having a camp out there.
It's called Wrangler Whiskers.
Yeah,
Like I said,
there's
we
a lot of
just-
places that are benefited by these things. So Virginia's in, that's Orange.
That's what we
Big pay usually. BK usually just got the international route, or international route, in Maggie Valley, last week. And there's 37 or 38 chapters of worldwide for TMC, I think they have 32 chapters there. I mean, there's Colorado, Texas, Michigan.
All right, they got the whole Dragon, yeah.
I'll send you maps, I'll send you
Yeah.
all the information. We're just getting started on it, so we're 1 year into the authority.
All right, I'll find it.
And that first
Oh,
year
yeah,
is just identifying
when you
the
bring
remaining.
up-
That's our big one right there.
Okay. And
So, anybody have any questions of Casey?
in closing, I would like to say that we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram. We have, I don't know. if
Go
y'all-
on Compound 24's YouTube channel, because we gotta get them to 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
So that they'll stream our TV show.
On YouTube,
What
so
was your
everybody
name?
will
Aaron
see it.
Stuff.
Yeah. But, we are on Facebook, Instagram.
We're on
Twitter,
everything.
Pretty much every
everywhere.
social media. I don't know if y'all ever heard of YouTube, but it is a great app, especially
Oh,
like
yeah.
if you're out in the area, you know, it's got a GPS on it, it's got, air flow and all that. And, yeah, if y'all don't care, we are, it's on Town 24 on YouTube. If you've got a YouTube account, subscribe to them and help us get those numbers up. We're doing giveaways, aren't we, Aaron?
What?
Giveaways for every.
We give away something every time.
Yeah, so, we are really blessed with our sponsors and stuff like that. They donate, you know, all kinds of things, and just like with our memberships, the discounts are phenomenal. You know, when we tell you that that they give you a discount, we're not just talking like 5 or 10%. We've got Drake, waterfowl, all their camo, all our members are 30% off. If you're a member, you're automatically a member of the League of Kentucky Sportsmen. When you become a member of ours, you also become a member with them.
We're all on the left
Yeah,
side.
yeah, and I mean, yep. So that is pretty much.
Can we get a picture with you two and our trail members, our officers?
Yeah. Let me go ahead and give out, here's mine.
Or Sunday ground.